Traditionally, in our Jamaican context, what we would have grown up to see is that farming, most persons who do small scale farming, it's often an afterthought. So it's usually because you didn't get to go to school, or you don't have another career option at the time, that persons would go into small scale farming. However, in recent times, we've seen that there's a shift in that, where persons are going into farming for more of the love of it and for even establishing it as a business. At Nature Inspired, we have gone into farming because we understand that it's a viable business option in the Jamaican context, and we would like to capitalize on that. And because of that, we have been investing in small things, not expensive, that can help us to better diagnose what's happening, to better monitor our crops, and to also better treat them and support the management of nutrients. Welcome to Nature Inspired, and today we are talking about how we manage our plot, that's after establishment, and how we track nutrients, how we track pH, and the importance of doing the same. We will also go into looking at identifying some issues that are currently in the plot, and also the options that we use to manage them. We have invested in some small technological devices, so that does help us to better monitor what we're doing on the plot.
We are collecting soil sample today. A part of the overall maintenance and management of the production part of the plot. So dug 4 inches below the surface. I'm just going to be removing some soil to get the sample.
Instruction is as best as possible, don't let your hand touch the soil.
Yeah.
So we've got a clean container.
Yeah.
And we're going to fill it up with soil. So today we are going to test 2 sections of the plot. This section we are testing because the plants in this section, they look pretty healthy. So this is section 1. We want to test the nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, and also the pH. So we have the test kit that we're going to be using. We got it from Amazon, and we have another video on that, so you can go get the full information on the kit. But we're checking for nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and we're going to do a pH test. Now the instructions are very clear on the leaflet that you get with it. And it tells you how to collect the soil sample and how to add water to it. So we're selecting this section because the trees are healthy in this section. They're producing well, the leaves are green, and the trees are nice and fluffy. There's a second section that we'll do too, because that section, the trees are not so. They're not looking healthy, they're not doing well. So it's 1 part soil to 5 parts water. So we're using this as a measure for the soil and water that we'll be using.
I'll be using distilled water.
Yeah, and it is suggested that you use, as best as possible, use distilled water or as pure as possible water. So we got some distilled water from the gas station. Should be able to get some from your gas station close to you as well. So we have the 1 part soil. And then we're going to add 5 of this of water.
Okay.
Now we allow it to settle for 30 minutes to 24 hours, and it is dependent on the type of soil and how quickly it settles. So you can monitor it, your soil, and that will be dependent on how long you allow it to soak for.
Go. I'm on.
Now this is for this one. What's that?
3. You finish your tag.
5, and then a little bit with the dash. Then we're supposed to stir this now. Give it a good stir, and then allow it to settle.
How good of a stir is this?
Possibly, yeah. We'll suspend it. But for the pH test, is a different approach.
You want to do that?
Oh, crush.
Oh.
For the pH test, we're supposed to add the soil to this line. I don't know which side we feel like this side. Both sides? Oh yes, both sides.
Mm-hmm. Happen. Happen.
Actually, I fill it with the soil to the line. Because the soil
Clump up.
So you fill the soil. To the soil fill line. Put the soil to that line. Then you add water to the water fill line.
Take your time. Still
That's what I'm supposed to use.
gloves.
The drop out thing. Patience.
You throw castor oil all the time, man, so you can't do that. And how long this one will stay to get the sample?
Hold on, till it settle again, you're supposed to shake it up. And let it settle. Let's say for 3 minutes. Check it. Can I shake this one?
Awesome.
Let's show the lines.
So, zoom out. So this is it. Into the soil and the distilled water. Right around so you can see back this.
This chamber.
I think the test chamber is the side of the clear. So she's going to put the capsule inside the test chamber. And this will, I guess, help to determine the pH level. Yeah.
Do it. No, you can't shake.
Shake.
We have the results of the pH test sample that we took. Alright, so this section and the colors tell you the pH of the sample that you took. Alright, so if it's red, it's very acidic. If it's green, it's more alkaline. So for this color, it looks like this to us. Alright. So the pH is about 6.5. It's somewhere between this and this. So it's a bit between 6 and 6.5. This shows you better. If you look at the color difference. So this chamber helps you to reference what the color would have been like without the test in it. And with the test, this is what it now looks like. So it's more green. So we would say it's about a 6.5.
Which is slightly acidic.
This one says slightly acidic. However, there's a leaflet that also comes with the test kit, and it tells you what's a suitable pH for different crops. And pepper is good at 6.5. So between 6.5 is good for peppers. So for this section, the acidity is good.
Acceptable.
Well,
based on the crop.
Yeah,
yes.
Based on this crop. So again, it's all dependent also. So
in this section of the plot, we have over time noticed a decline in how the plants look. Before, these plants were very healthy. They were looking to the ones at the other end of the plot, but over time they started looking like this, and so we wanted to investigate as to possible causes, whether it is the acidity or something lacking or a pest or a virus. So we have to start somewhere in doing the investigation. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is taking a sample right here. We're going to have a just comparison between this section and the front section, just to look at the soil nutrient factors and also the pH. So sample 2, site. Yeah, put it in the or infield test chambers. And then
sanitized,
yes. Going to be adding 5 parts distilled water.
Have you know?
We
need some for the pH test.
More now.
You need to do a quick shake. Shake.
Agitate, as Kai would say. So this is sample 2.
So for this big one again, we're going to be doing the nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus test. But this one has to sit for like half an hour to 24 hours based on how long the soil takes to settle. And then the pH one.
Oh, we're going to be putting it in the shade. Where's the pH skid? Alright.
Take the soil first. Yes, that's green. Don't take it out yet, it's going to melt in your hand, you know. It's why you don't trust yourself?
Just now, come back up here.
Because you don't follow instruction. Okay, you're lazy.
Alright, so soil first.
Just a little, you know, just enough to the soil fill line. You can't get the loose soil.
Both sides?
Yeah. Let me see. Put in the pill. In the small part. For the results of the pH test in sample 2.
Bring it in closer.
It's closer to the orange side, right?
Yeah.
So we're seeing that the soil on this section is acidic. And again, for peppers, 6.5 and above. Well, 6.5 is about 6.8. Maybe 6 is okay. But this looks like it's in the 5 to me. What do you think?
Looks so. 5.5 there go.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it is
There's not much green in it. The other one you can clearly see more of the green up here, so there, so this look more like that. So this section seems like it's acidic.
Yeah.
And with a simple test, we can show that. And then we'll be better able to decide how we handle this section of the plant. It's closer to the end of the hoses, so maybe we need to flush them. If you look at these, they have a distinct kind of look and they're just getting dried. The peppers come on, but this is a mature pepper. But this. And this is what we're noticing in this section. And they are getting water, so we know it's not because of a lack of water. They are getting water at the roots. So we supplement our crops with nutrients in a similar way that we would take our vitamins in the morning, because we're not getting enough from the different foods that we eat. We also do that for our crops, and that is in the form of fertilizer. Now, we would be adding fertilizers to the soil, to whatever medium that we use. So for our greenhouse, the medium might be different. For us in open field farming, our medium is the soil. So we have to continually keep track of that to ensure that there is enough nutrients to supplement what is already there, that we add enough, and that we don't add too much. Now we manage that, or we monitor that through soil testing. Soil testing is not a one-off thing. It is something that we do constantly to keep track of what is in the soil, so that we know there is enough. There is enough in it, so we don't need to add any more. Or there's enough of one and we need to add some more of another. Or there's too much, so we need to cut back. And we need to kind of combat some of the effects of that. So yes, not having enough nutrients can be a problem, but putting too much nutrients also causes other problems. So for instance, making the soil more acidic. And when the soil is acidic, even if you add additional nutrients to it, the plant won't be able to take it up. So for instance, where we're standing now in plant 1, we noticed that some of these plants were stunted in growth. They were just not growing. And when they actually put on some peppers, they're like this. And they are getting water. So the roots are getting water. So we know it's not water. So by means of elimination, we don't know everything. So for us, we use elimination. So once we see a plant starting to wilt or to look unhealthy, the first thing that we check is lack of water. If there's water at the root. So for example, this section, as I said, we noted that the plant started to look a little weird. But this plant in particular is suffering from a lack of water, because the drip at this one is not working, so there's no water at the root of the plant. So the first thing that we do, we correct that. So we try to get the hose dripping again. A number of things can cause the hose not to drip in our case, because we use drip irrigation. And that is the water itself. It's very, what in it?
Calcium. Yeah.
Calcium deposits. Limestone. So it tends to cause the hose to get blocked. So we have to use citric acid to try to clean it. Also, if we don't open the ends of the hose very often, then the residue from the fertilizer, as well as the calcium from the water, it builds up and it backs up in the hose. And we think that is what is happening in this particular section, because it's at the end of the hose and the concentration of the nutrients in the hose is very high. Once we open it, it's a lot of residue. So we think that's one of the things that's contributing to the issues in this section. So firstly, we rule out, is the plant getting enough water? In our case, we check the drip. For your case, if it is that you're rain-fed agriculture, then are you getting enough rain? And if not, what can you do? Are you able to provide water directly to the root of the plants? Do you use sprinklers? Like, what is it? But just check that the water is enough for the plant. So once we ruled out that there was water available to the plants, then the other consideration for us was what else could cause the plants to look like this. The stunted growth and the lack of production, and the plants are just drying up, basically. So our research pointed us to the soil being acidic. So we decided to do the pH test. We have a test kit that we got online. There's another video with that, so you can check it out. And for this section, we realized that the soil is indeed acidic, and we will have to try to fix that before these plants will even start looking like something, or even if we plant something else here, if it will actually grow. So again, we know that if it's a single plant in this section that's dying, it's likely water or something else. But then we realize that the entire section is being affected. So we figured it might be the acidity. And we did check it, and it is in fact acidic. Now, research again tells us that to combat acidity, we need to increase the alkaline components of the soil. There are many ways to do that. For us, the easiest way would be to use magnesium sulfate or calcium. And we'll do a little. So, being that we ourselves are scientists, we were tempted to check some of these suggestions. So what we did, we got a container with some water, made it acidic by adding citric acid. And once we realized that it was now acidic, we added magnesium sulfate to it, and it actually did increase the pH. So it brought it back up. So we are going to increase the magnesium sulfate in the nutrient for this plot, and monitor as we go along to see how that is improving. Now, too much fertilizers.
So that's what you use to measure this.
We use this to measure the acidity of the water. This is a pH meter, but this is for the water, so for liquids. So we use this for the water when we are testing the acidity of it, and we also use it when we do our mixture for treating the field. So we use this because some of these products, they do better at certain pH. So once we read the package and it tells us what pH it should be at, we use this to test it, and then we use citric acid as needed to reduce the pH, because the water that we use is very alkaline already. All right.
And this is what we used to do the test earlier with the citric acid and the magnesium sulfate.
Right. Now, the soil the soil is acidic because of the fertilizer that we use. Now, different fertilizers, so like sulfate of ammonia that we use sometimes, it can cause the soil to become acidic. So it can cause the soil to become acidic. So that is why we even decided to start monitoring it, because we actually use some of the fertilizers that we know that can cause the acidity. No, that is why we have to monitor, because too much fertilizer is also bad, because we can see what it causes here. Right, so once we rule out too little water, there's also too much water. So we've planted some new seedlings and realized that some sections, they just kind of have a stunted growth. They just didn't grow and they kind of die at the seedling stage. And we recognize that Scotch bonnet peppers in particular, they don't like a lot of water. So there has to be a balance of water. So if it's not too little water, then we have to find out, is it too much water? So we realize that it's getting water, but is it that the root is constantly wet and it's not drying out at all? And that in itself can cause a problem for the plant as well. Then the leaves of your plant tell a story. If they are big and nice and green, they look healthy. Now, we find that for our plants, the leaves, they don't really fall off. They usually stay on. So once we see them starting to turn yellow and shed, like you see how easy this one fell off, then we know that there's something happening with this. They don't usually do that. So if they start doing that, then that's a deviation from the norm. So what is causing that? In this case, we believe it's a bacterial leaf spot. So we are treating for that. And then we realize that it's not happening to just one plant, but it's happening to other plants in this section as well. So the bacterial leaf spot is affecting them now, which is a fungus. So we treat with a appropriate fungus. So if you take note of this section, everybody is looking nice and fluffy along this line. But then there's Madame right here, who looks a little bit off. So we now have to try to figure out what is causing this. Initially, just looking at it, and based on my paranoia from past experiences, I'm thinking that this is probably the mosaic virus.
But I'm thinking it's a lack of nutrient. So it could be either sulfur, iron, or magnesium.
Well, for magnesium, if there is no magnesium, then it can't take up the other nutrients. It could be also that the root is dry, which it is.
The root is dry?
Yeah. So the hose is not working. Right here.
We have to fix that.
So maybe it's nutrients because it's not getting any water. And if it's not getting any water, in our case, it's not getting any nutrients.
Yeah. See? Simple fix.
Now look at this. See it?
Don't move. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is fungus. That's on this plant. This is based on what we would have learned from plot 2. When there's a section that was all the trees were like this. And if you look at it, the top, it's a new young leaves that look that way. And most of them, if you touch them, see, fall off very easily once they get this look. So this need a fungicide. Look, them fall off easy. And the leaves don't stay on. Just by touching them simply. So this has a fungus. This one now, the leaves are curling. They are curling up. So I don't know what this is. For mites, they usually curl down like this. So I don't know if the direction of the curl have something to do with it. See how this one curling up?
Mm-hmm.
So
we brought a little kitty today.
We bring out the bad boy. Open this is something. Or not.
Or not. I prefer not.
It's better not to see something. But if you see something, it's very exciting. Alright, so this is a...
Show me.
Tell me what this name, I don't know.
Microscope.
Right.
Electronic microscope. That connects to your phone via Bluetooth.
What does it do?
So it gives you the opportunity as a farmer to view images that are not observable with the naked eye. So microscopic images. So remove the covering. Yeah. So this is a very important tool, especially when we're scouting for pests, different insects that affect the plant. So Shanice is connecting it to her phone.
Connect.
So you use the Wi-Fi to search for the instrument, and then you turn it on. You have all the bill. So go ahead.
So when you put it on the leaf, it shows on your phone. It magnifies it on your phone.
Yeah, so you see the magnified image on the phone. So if the leaves are curling up, that means the insect is at the top. And if the leaves are curling down, I mean the insect is under the leaf. Right? Should?
I don't know.
I'm thinking if it's curling up, the two bases.
Usually a sucking insect that called the curling though.
Yeah, but the sucking insect's not going to be on the top. You know what I'm thinking? So if it's curling up, it's probably a leaf curl virus or something else that is.
You know the virus called it to curl up.
I'm not seeing anything. You can use that silver thing at the side to adjust the resolution.
That's for the magnification.
Yeah, magnification.
No, resolution, is it?
Resolution.
Yeah.
But
I was
also,
going to say.
no, also magnification, because you can zoom in. So resolution is just allowing the image itself at a particular magnified depth to be clearer.
Alright, nerd out.
However, the magnification, it increases how far you go. Yeah, so it's both resolution and magnification.
So now you can look at my phone screen. So I have a leaf. I'm going to use this.
Try to get the video.
The video, don't,
it's not clear. Just right here.
Can we?
No. I didn't check or anything.
Come on, demonstrate like what is that this man? This.
That's a dead insect. I was sprayed recently. Sure they're gone. Well, I carry two home. Fancy.
What is? So these two plants, they're dead, but the soil is wet at the root. Yeah. So we don't know why, but we also know that if the soil is constantly wet, not draining, then you have what you call root rot. And the roots just rot, and once they rot, it's like they die, so they can't take out the more nutrients. But this root is basically dead. But I don't know why it would be like constantly wet and the others on the line good. So casualty.
So a similar thing on 3.
Yeah.
We're just dying. Yeah.
I still don't know why.
We have a call this one too. Can I use the word call?
No, I call me no. You say you take things out of it? Don't just pop it out and tear the plastic.
But we had that.
You. Can you see all the interior here, you know?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think dog them.
No, this ain't a dog. So, you what them did. So them did. When you see an issue in your plot, don't just assume it's a pest or a fungus and then spray for that, because we still have to try to monitor how we introduce the different fungicides and pesticides to our plot if it's not necessary.
And also, if you introduce it too much, it's probably not effective over time.
Right, it's not effective either.
Yeah.
So check to see if it is something else. It can be something else. In our case, we have the soil is over acidic. It's too acidic. And also it can be overwatering. It can be as simple as the plant is not getting enough water. So do your assessment, do your checks, and just take some time to diagnose what it is so you can better treat the specific issue.
And you can get some simple instruments as well.
Right. Get some simple instruments. They're effective, they're cheap, they're affordable, and they're effective. And they help you to make better decisions. Okay? There's also the issue of fungicide or pesticides burn, or even fertilizer burn. So some of the times we see some things happening. This is not a fungus or anything. This is just burns from a fungicide that we used. Probably was mixed too strong, or it wasn't agitated properly when it came to do this section. So these are just burns, like normal burns. And you can know when you see like the edges of the leaves are burnt, and then it's just this section that we know that we recently did some treatment here. So this is not anything else but just regular burns. So we're going to do the test now for samples 1 and 2 for nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. This is for which section? This is
That's
sample
a good
2.
section.
Good
Sample
section?
A.
Sample A. Alright, so we fill both sides of this to the mark on the container. Take forever.
Nah, take forever. 10 squeeze. No patience at all.
Too much. Like too many.
You can't carry this here, no?
No, she get it from.
Just mind that shit. That's all I'm saying. I see Anna European design, like, you want that shit too.
Yeah, but the boat won't come in, brother.
Supposed to reach now.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
That is which one?
It's a phosphorus. I'm gonna put the thumb in there. Let's have to everybody first.
So this is the... Nah, focus. So yeah, it's the phosphorus sample. One side is the testing side and one side is the solution. So you can see and compare. And this is the nitrogen sample. And Shanice is filling the potassium sample.
I would have liked the water to be a little more clear. But remember, even we leave the 24 hours, you never get no clearer than this.
I wonder if the water be clear.
No, the package said The clearer the better, but if it is not clear, no worry about it.
Okay. You still need some suspended matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is potash. So, thankfully, they're color coded.
So you can mix them up.
Yeah. So the container and this are the same color. So you just put this in the test side.
Make it show it.
How long do you make this sit again?
I think 1 minute.
No, I think 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Where's the package? Share this.
No, not time for that.
Ted.
Oh,
You know something do?
what?
What color am I putting on this?
Potash.
Orange. I don't know. Come on, put on my friend, you know. Take off this. Give it that.
Well, just the same color.
I'm gonna just change the film at the front.
Never
Never that serious.
that serious.
So this is sample A. This is from the section that we think is doing well. The plants are doing well. And we would say the potash seems adequate based on this color.
Nitrogen.
Seems adequate to you or a little bit deficient?
Between adequate and a little bit deficient.
Probably could take a little bit more nitrogen.
Yeah.
But it's almost okay. And the potash is adequate or sufficient?
I think between adequate and sufficient.
Alright, so that is good. Well, the phosphorus this.
Yeah, that's a
Nice and
phosphorus.
potash. Okay, so that section of the plot seems like it's good.
This is a good section of the plot, so we're basically confirming that. The nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium constituents within the soil, within that section, is adequate and sufficient.
And the pH was also good.
And the pH was
Just
also
for
good.
context, you can see the
Just
color
for-
changes.
Yeah.
So
Bring it closer.
this is what this stay, and this section is the comparison to that. So this sample is from
The section that the plants are dying.
yes. So this is sample B, and this is sufficient.
Yeah. So that is phosphorus.
Alright, this is sufficient. Look at the color on
Bring it
this.
closer.
Here, so that's what is closest to.
Yeah.
Potash looks more depleted than anything else to me.
Yeah. When you hold it up against the light, you can see clearer.
Look deficient or look depleted?
More depleted.
Look depleted to me because it barely changed color compared to that thing. You see that?
Yeah.
And nitrogen.
Oh, that's phosphorus. Nitrogen.
Seem surplus.
Yeah. Let's see what it's
Too
against.
much down there.
Yes. Yeah, surplus.
Seem surplus for them. So it looks like we have too little potash, too much nitrogen, and almost too much phosphorus in that section.
Hence why the soil would be.
That's why we have a lower pH in that section.
So
the soil is
slightly
more acidic. Slightly acidic.
In that section.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why the plants are dying. I would say.
Yeah, but it could be an explanation as to why.
An explanation. A contributing
Plants are
factor.
dying while they are getting water.
The good thing we used to play in the dirt. There's a literal dirt and water. Well, distilled water.
But a dirty water.
Yeah. So yeah. Thanks.
As we move forward as small farmers, You can share with us some of the technologies that you use on your farm as well. Share with us some of the ways that you diagnose your plots, because we are interested to learn. And we just want to give a shout out to all those people who have been reaching out to us, sharing what you know, and allowing us to build this thing. We're happy to share with you, and whenever you share with us, we are so appreciative of it. So thank you. If you've ever reached out to share something, or if you've ever just given us an encouraging word, thank you. A lot of persons have shared that the content has helped them. So that is something that we're also grateful for, because it's good to know that what we're trying to do, we're actually doing, as we are sharing this so that you can learn from our mistakes. All right. Thank you for joining us. Continue to like, continue to share, continue to subscribe. And in the words of Savannah Kai, hit that bell down below. Thank you, guys. Bye.